What is domestic abuse? The UK government's definition of domestic abuse is any incident or pattern of incidents of coercive, controlling, threatening, or violent abuse shown towards someone aged 16 or over who are or have been with intimate partners or family members, regardless of gender or sexuality. The abuse can encompass, but not limited to, their psychological, physical, sexual, financial, and emotional well-being. Domestic violence is more common with women being the victim, but there are men also going through the same issue. The crime survey for England and Wales showed that 1.6 million women experience domestic violence in their relationships, compared to 57,000 men experiencing domestic abuse between March 2019 and March 2020. Domestic abuse can happen in different forms, including physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, coercive control, gaslighting, emotional abuse, digital and online abuse, honor-based violence, forced marriage, or genital mutilation. Physical effects of domestic violence: bruises, marks around the eyes, red or purple marks on the neck, sprained or broken wrists, chronic fatigue, shortness of breath, muscle tension, involuntary shaking, changes in eating and sleeping patterns, sexual dysfunction, and menstrual cycle or fertility issues in women. What are the common psychological effects of domestic violence? Post-traumatic distress disorder, including flashbacks, nightmares, severe anxiety, and uncontrollable thoughts. Depression, including prolonged sadness, anxiety, low self-esteem and questioning sense of self, suicidal thoughts or attempts. If you know someone who is feeling suicidal, you should contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Or alcohol and drug abuse. What are the common emotional and spiritual effects of domestic violence? Hopelessness, feeling unworthy, apprehensiveness and discouraged about the future, inability to trust, questioning and doubting spiritual faith, and unmotivated. The common effects of children who witness domestic violence. Whether children witness or experience abuse, it can take a toll on their development. Domestic violence victims are not isolated to intimate partners. Children are at an increased risk of emotional behavioral problems regardless whether they were directly abused or not. These effects can include anxiety, depression, academic problems, or fearfulness. Stats about domestic violence in the UK. There is no reliable prevalence data on domestic violence, but the Crime Survey of England and Wales offers the best data available. According to this data for the year ending March 2020, 5.7% of white people are in a violent domestic relationship, compared to 3.7% of black people that are in a violent domestic relationship, compared to 3.6% of Asian people are in a domestic violent relationship. Approximately 1 in 4 women, which is 23% of women in the UK, experience violence by an intimate partner, compared to the 1 in 13 men, which is 7.8% of men in the UK. 2017 was one of the most recent years where domestic violence was highly recorded. Here are the key findings on the 139 women killed by men in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland in 2017. 82 women who were killed by men in 2017 were aged between 26 and 55, which is 59% of the total. However, 20 women who were killed were aged 66 or over, which is 14%. 5 of these women were killed by their partner or spouse. 55% of women killed by their ex-partner or ex-spouse were killed within the first month of separation, and 87% were killed in the first year. 32% of women were killed at the home they shared with the perpetrator, in most cases their partner or spouse, compared to the 26.6% that were killed in a home where they independently lived from the perpetrator. 24 women were killed by a man known to them as a social or business acquaintance, friend or neighbour. 30 women were killed by a stranger, and 21 women were killed in terror attacks. In 66 cases, men use a sharp instrument to kill their victims. Overkilling is where somebody uses excessive force on another person and uses force and/or methods more than required to kill somebody to put them through as much pain before sadly taking their life. This was evident in 58 cases. Cases included women being repeatedly beaten with an axe or other objects or stabbed multiple times. In some cases, there were also evidence that mutilation was demonstrated on some bodies after they were killed. Here at IABA, we like to talk about sensitive topics that a lot of people are too worried to speak about. It is understandable why some people may think they are not in the position to say such things, but we thoroughly do our research before talking about certain topics so we do not offend people. The reason why we like to branch out into several topics and get involved in the nitty-gritty is because many people go through issues that we have recently spoke about, such as bereavement, we mentioned in our Grenfell video, explaining the effects of bullying, which is sadly very common in the UK, and explaining mental health, which many people go through on a daily basis worldwide. For all of these videos, you can either click the eye above or watch the videos after, and the link will be in the description. And we feel it is important that people know exactly where they can go to get help, as well as educate our audience on topics that sadly do happen around the world currently, as we want to create a community where we all look out for each other's well-being, as there is a lot of negatives in the world, which can massively affect people's mental health, whereas we are trying to make a happy community. We do not discriminate, we accept all types of people, no matter your age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, or disability. If you want to be a part of our community, you can follow our social media handles, which will be in the description below. Hopefully this video really informed you on how serious these topics are and sadly how common they are in the UK. So if you know somebody who is going through a domestic abusive relationship, or you are unfortunately going through one yourself, please go to the helplines in the description below. What's going on over in Afghanistan? Who is the Taliban, and how did they take over so quickly? Let's quickly break it down for you. These were the scenes at Kabul airport as residents were desperately trying to flee the country, many of them afraid of what was about to happen next. There were traffic jams all the way up until the airport, and there were even people holding on for dear life on the side of planes as they were about to take off once they entered the airport. Why is this happening? The Afghan government have just been overthrown by the Taliban, and at time of recording they have just announced that they have control of the whole country. The Taliban, which translates to the students, are an extremist Islamic group of individuals. Due to this news, the previous president has already fled the country, and were officially formed in the year 1994. They slowly started to seize territory over the country, and only 2 years later in 1996, the Taliban were the most dominant force in the country. The Taliban were in control of the country from 1996 to 2001, which was a 5-year period. The US involvement. On September 11th, 2001, came the infamous 9/11 terror attacks over in the United States of America, and the US government at the time believed that the terrorist group Al-Qaeda were responsible for these attacks. However, they believed they were being sheltered by the Taliban in Afghanistan. At the time, the Taliban were in control of the country, who were controlling aspects of many people's lives, but not for much longer, as the US sent in troops as well as some of its allies, and the Taliban were quickly conquered. However, they didn't vanish completely. They fled to remote parts of the country and began warfare with troops that were sent in from the US. In decades that followed, trillions of dollars were spent by the US and their allies on various things such as fighting the Taliban, training the Afghan military on how to defeat the Taliban, rebuilding parts of the country, and trying to establish democracy. Thousands of people have died due to this ongoing feud, both US soldiers and Afghan soldiers alongside Afghan civilians.
Support for US involvement has been gradually declining in the States, with some, including President Biden himself, labelling the conflict as the forever war.
I cannot and will not ask our troops to fight on endlessly in another country's civil war.
The United States first announced that it would be pulling out of Afghanistan in April 2021. What followed was expected by some, but few expected it to happen as quickly as it did. It was hoped that the Afghan government and security forces would be able to defend themselves, but many members of the Afghan army, which was largely paid for and equipped by the US, simply fled and escaped to neighbouring countries. Taliban fighters quickly swept across the country, seizing city after city without facing much resistance. After taking Kabul, the Taliban has claimed control of most of the country, and the existing government of Afghanistan has all but collapsed.
American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves.
For the first period of Taliban rule, women weren't allowed to leave the home without a man, and were required to be clad head to toe in a burqa. Women were also not allowed to work, and girls weren't allowed to pursue an education. Non-Islamic music and television was banned, and corporal punishments like cutting off thieves' hands and public beatings were in place. The Taliban say they will hold talks to create an open, inclusive Islamic government.
Government officials will be activated soon, and all employees, including women, will return to work and work in areas permitted by Sharia law.
So one thing is clear so far, and that is that the Taliban are here for the long run. And to make it official, they announce this.
The Taliban says it will, after days of delays, announce its new government this week. One of its many challenges will be preventing an economic collapse.
This just shows that you should never take things for granted that you currently have. Chances are that there is somebody going through a much worse experience than you. Please put your hands together right now and pray for those innocent people currently trapped in Afghanistan. Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video as it is a sensitive topic and many people should be informed on the current ongoing in Afghanistan. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Within 20 minutes of the alarm being raised, 40 fire engines arrived at the Lancaster West estate. But the firefighters were already facing an impossible task. Their ladders and hoses could only reach the 12th floor. In less than 20 minutes, the inferno was blazing on all 23 stories.
One major event that occurred within our country recently was the Grenfell Tower fire, and we wanted to make a video on Grenfell as there is new leads in the investigation and wanted to bring awareness to the incident that many people may know but have forgotten about. If you're unfamiliar with what Grenfell was, here's a quick rundown of what happened on the 14th of June 2017. What was Grenfell? Grenfell Tower was initially built in 1974 as part of the great construction boom carried out by local authorities to house low-income families. And on the 14th of June 2017, 72 innocent people's lives were taken by the fire that engulfed the Grenfell Tower block in North Kensington, West London. Sadly, only 110 out of the 297 residents escaped from the tower unharmed that night. More than 70 people were injured, as well as over 200 people were left without permanent shelter, which some are still without 4 years later. Just before 1 AM on the 14th of June, a fire broke out in a kitchen from flat 16 on the 4th floor, and 999 received a call saying there was a fire on Latmere Road, West London. The first fire brigade arrived just 6 minutes after the emergency services were alerted.
Within 20 minutes of the alarm being raised, 40 fire engines arrived at the Lancaster West estate. But the firefighters were already facing an impossible task. Their ladders and hoses could only reach the 12th floor. In less than 20 minutes, the inferno was blazing on all 23 stories, and more than 20 ambulance crews raced to the tower to treat casualties and ferry the seriously injured to nearby hospitals.
How the night went. From the 4th floor, the fire spread rapidly upwards and across the eastern side of the building. From there, it spread across the north face of the tower. Video footage shows the blaze reaching the top floor on the east side of Grenfell Tower by 1:26, less than 30 minutes after the firefighters had arrived. At 2:06, London Fire Brigade declared this as a major incident. At this point, 40 fire engines were involved in the incident, either en route or at the scene already. By 2:10, multiple internal fires could be seen burning inside the building. By 2:22, the fire had spread to the south side of the tower, and by 2:30, it was reported that the eastern side of the building was fully engulfed by the fire. The initial stay put advice from the fire brigade finally abandoned at 2:47, when the incident commander gave orders to advise people to make efforts to leave the building. By 2:51, the fire had reached the western side of the building. At this point, 63 flats were on fire and more than 100 people remained in the building. At 4:30, the whole building was engulfed, with more than 100 flats on fire, and in total the tower had burnt for over 60 hours. Bereavement. Bereavement usually means losing somebody we love through death, and follows on from change and loss. It is a devastating event, turning our worlds upside down and changing our lives forever. The death of a loved one is the worst feeling you'll ever experience. Due to recent global events such as COVID-19, many people around the world have been going through a hard time and dealing with bereavement. However, there are many other ways people can go through that feeling of bereavement. For example, diagnosed with a health problem, divorce or relationship breakup, a miscarriage, losing a job, loss of financial stability, retirement, death of a pet, selling the family home, or even watching your team lose in a final. Going through one or multiple of these could lead someone spiraling into the feeling of bereavement. One national tragedy that caused many people to have gone through the trauma was the Grenfell Tower event.
I think we were all, when we saw the horrific scenes of what had happened at Grenfell Tower, we all were deeply affected by that. It's absolutely horrifying. And I've been hearing stories today from people about their experiences. I've also been hearing from the local community about the issues and concerns that they have. Now, the government is making £5 million available for those emergency funds for people who need just to get money to be able to buy the normal things of everyday life.
A question for the new Prime Minister. At Grenfell Tower, your response was ridiculous. You hid like a coward behind your $5 million, dodged responsibility and acted like you're innocent, and I can see.
After this incident, the Prime Minister at the time, Theresa May, didn't even bother showing up to the tower after the blaze, even though she knew she was the one person the nation looked up to show up and have a response and possibly show some empathy. I mean, she was the Prime Minister of the country.
The people who died and lost their homes, this happened to them because they are poor. We are in one of the richest spaces, not just in London, but in the world. Repeated requests were ignored. There is no way that rich people live in a building without adequate fire safety. Everyone I spoke to who was out there couldn't hear alarms. There was no sprinkler system.
There was no alarms.
But
Right.
what's so curious is that £8 million has been spent refurbishing
Yeah,
this.
because it was an eyesore for the rich people that live opposite.
There were
So they
no
put
alarms.
pretty panels on the outside, so the rich people opposite wouldn't have to look at a horrendous block.
As a result of this horrifying event, a total 151 homes were destroyed in the tower block and surrounding buildings. Many of the surrounding buildings were evacuated due to the possibility of the tower collapsing. However, at the time of recording, the building still stands, but the government are close to coming to an agreement to demolish the building 4 years after the fire. More than 2,200 people have screened for PTSD just over a year after the event, including those who lost family members, were rescued, or were evacuated from the tower, and 67% of adults were assessed as needing treatment. Fire brigade staff who dealt with the Grenfell Tower tragedy had almost taken 5,000 days off work with PTSD. A total of 17 London fire brigade workers have now been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. This includes 14 firefighters and 3 999 control room operators, as well as 2/3 of adults who survived or were affected by Grenfell Tower have shown signs that they need to require treatment for PTSD as well. 195 out of the 201 households have been permanently housed, yet there is still 6 households left in temporary housing, even though it is 4 years later. The aftermath. The Grenfell Tower was one of the most deadly and tragic events to ever hit this country. One of the reasons why the building went up in flames so quickly was because the contractors who built the tower used cheap materials to save costs, including using an aluminium composite cladding, which is one of the most flammable claddings you can get. And somehow the government to this day still allow it to be perfectly legal in the country.
I'm still here temporary, coming up to the 3rd year anniversary, and we was promised that we're supposed to be permanently housed. I'm still suffering, I'm still jumping hoops through the council, and I find it's unfair. It's about time that they show some kind of dignity in us as human beings.
For no one to show any care afterwards, for the people in power, the council, to just disappear and not support and not be there to answer questions and not be there to, they completely disappeared after Grenfell and left us out to dry. There was no support. It was literally just community members on the ground doing all the work.
I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel disappointed in the government as well, especially with the council. From day one, they promised us to rehouse us permanently. They can't expect us mental health and physically to heal and to get better without settling into a home.
The aftermath. The Grenfell Tower was one of the most deadly and tragic events to ever hit this country. One of the reasons why the building went up in flames so quickly was because the contractors who built the tower used cheap materials to save costs, including using an aluminium composite cladding, which was one of the most flammable claddings you can get. And somehow the government to this day still allow it to be perfectly legal in the country. We all know that everybody copes with bereavement in different ways, and when bereaved, there is no specific way you must behave or feel. There are no rules, no time frame, and no judgment. Nevertheless, help can always be appreciated. So if anyone watching this is suffering from bereavement or knows somebody who is feeling bereaved, there are helplines in the description. We highly recommend our partners, Sue Rider, who are at the top of the helplines. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, subscribe with the bell notification on, and we'll see you next time.
Do you suffer with mental health? Do you know anyone who suffers with mental health? Do you even know what mental health is? Well, in today's video, we're going to go through what mental health really is. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle with stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence through adulthood. What type of mental health are there? Mental health is a complex topic, as there are many different avenues you can look at it from. In total, there are over 200 mental health illnesses. However, today we'll go through the most common 12, which are dissociation identity disorder, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, multiple personality disorder, eating disorders, psychosis, post-traumatic disorder, also known as PTSD, paranoia, stress, and OCD. What causes mental health to occur? There are many different things that can cause mental health to play a significant part in your life. However, some of the most common things are: it could be a regular occurrence in your family's genetics, the environment you are around on a regular basis, childhood trauma, for example, being abused or witnessing violence from young, stressful events, for example, losing a loved one or being in a life-threatening accident, negative thoughts such as being violent towards yourself or someone else, unhealthy habits like not getting enough sleep or not eating correctly, or abusing the use of alcohol and drugs, as abusing drugs and alcohol can trigger mental illness. It's clear to see that over lockdown, mental health cases rose. One of the main reasons was that people with mental health felt trapped, as they were not allowed to go out, which can actually help them improve their own mental health. Stats and statistics. Nearly 1 in 4 people in the UK will experience mental health problems each year. In England, 1 in 6 people report experiencing a common mental health problem, such as anxiety or depression. More than half of UK adults have said that being around nature helps improve their mental health, and 4 in 10 of these people said that it makes them feel less worried or anxious. 1 in 5 people have suicidal thoughts, 1 in 14 people self-harm, and 1 in 15 people attempt suicide. 23% of Black British people will experience a common mental health problem in any given week, which compares to a 17% of white British people who may suffer with mental health on any given week. People who identify as part of the LGBTQ community are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience reporting having a mental health problem compared to a heterosexual person living in England. Approximately only 1 in 8 people who suffer with mental health actually get any type of treatment. If you are someone who struggles with mental health, as many of us do, or know someone who suffers from mental health, let them know that they will feel much better if they talk about it with someone. If you have no one close to talk to, then there are also services out there that can help you, such as Mind, Samaritans, Side by Side, Shout, and many more. There is a website link in the description that has all of these links and many more sites,
So if you do suffer with mental health and need help, please go and check it out. Symptoms. Signs and symptoms of mental illness can vary depending on the disorder, circumstances, and other factors. Mental illness symptoms can affect emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Examples of signs and symptoms include excessive fears or worries or extreme feeling of guilt, extreme mood changes of highs and lows, withdrawal from friends and activities, significant tiredness, low energy or problems sleeping, detachment from reality such as delusions, paranoia or hallucinations, inability to cope with daily problems or stress, trouble understanding and relating to situations and to people, problems with alcohol or drug use, major changes in eating habits, sex drive changing, excessive anger, hostility or violence to yourself or others, and suicidal thoughts. How to cope with mental health. Again, like there are many mental health illnesses, there are also many ways to deal with them. And here are some of the easiest ways to cope with mental health. Number 1, keep active. Regular exercise can boost your self-esteem and can help you concentrate and sleep better. Number 2, eat well. Your brain needs a mix of nutrients to stay healthy and function well, just like the other organs in your body. Number 3, drink sensibly. We often drink to change our mood. However, some people drink to deal with the fear of being lonely. However, this feeling is only temporary. And when the drink wears away, you feel worse because of the way the alcohol has affected your brain and the rest of your body. Drinking alcohol is not a good way to manage difficult feelings. Number 4, keep in touch. There is nothing better than catching up with someone face to face, but that is not always possible. So if that isn't possible at the time, you should give them a call, drop them a note, or chat to them online instead. Keep the lines of communication open. It's good for you and the recipient. Number 6, take a break. A change of scene or a change of pace is good for your mental health. It could be a 5-minute pause from cleaning your kitchen, a half-hour lunch break at work, or a weekend away exploring something new. A few minutes can be enough to distress you. Give yourself some me time. Number 7, do something you're good at. What do you love doing? What activities can you lose yourself in? What did you love to do in the past? Enjoying yourself can beat stress. Doing an activity you enjoy probably means you're good at it, and achieving something can boost your self-esteem. Number 8, accept who you are. We're all different, and it's much healthier to accept that you are unique rather than wishing you were someone else. Feeling good about yourself can boost your confidence to learn new skills, visit new places, and make new friends. Good self-esteem helps you cope when life takes a difficult turn. Number 9, care for others. Friends are really important. We help them when we can. And it is a two-way street, so supporting them can uplift you. If they are a real friend, obviously. Caring for others is often an important part of keeping up relationships with people close to you. It could even bring you closer. Number 10, talk about your feelings. Talking about your feelings can help you stay in a good mental state and relieve some of the pressure you deal with from time to time. You shouldn't be embarrassed to do so, as there are many big celebrities who have suffered from mental health issues where society look at them and think they have everything easy in life. However, it is never that simple. A couple of examples are Tyson Fury, the current heavyweight champion of the world.
Relaxing isn't my forte. I'm OCD and depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. I like to keep busy because when I'm not busy, then if I've got too much time on my hands, I start getting down.
Adele, one of the biggest singers in the UK.
Adele struggled with postpartum depression after the birth of her son, and according to Peter, she worked hard to get both her mental and physical health back on track. He says she embraced better eating habits and was committed to her fitness, but best of all, he wholeheartedly believes she did this for herself and not because of any outside influences.
Ryan Reynolds, one of the most famous actors in the world.
He wrote, quote, "May is almost over. It's also a Mental Health Awareness Month. Which brings me to this. One of the reasons I'm posting this so late is I overschedule myself and important things slip. And one of the reasons I overschedule myself is my lifelong pal, anxiety. He went on to say, quote, "I know I'm not alone, and more importantly, to all those like me who overschedule, overthink, overwork, overworry, and over everything, please know you're not alone. We don't talk enough about mental health, and we don't do enough to destigmatize talking about it. But as with this post, better late than never, I hope."
Beyonce, one of the world's most famous singers and performers. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of the most successful American actors.
I found that with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not going to be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens. You feel like you're alone, and you feel like it's only you, and you're in your bubble. And I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So I wish I knew that. Just gotta remember. Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith that on the other side of your pain is something good.
J.K. Rowling, one of the most known and successful authors of all time.
I came from a place where I was a single mother, and it really was hand to mouth at one point. Mm-hmm. It was as literally as poor as you can get in Britain without being homeless at one point. If you've ever been there, you will never, ever take for granted that you don't need to worry. Never. I had a very, very tiny baby, and then I walked straight into poverty and depression. Clinical depression is a terrible place to be, because it's not sadness. Sadness is not a bad thing, to cry and to feel, but it's that cold absence of feeling. It's even the absence of hope that you can feel better. That really hollowed out feeling, that's what the dementors are.
And Selena Gomez, a current successful singer.
And how that affected her mental health.
In the beginning, I couldn't deal with it that well. I kind of went into a bit of a depression. And then I started going into a place where I was really writing and being active. And then I guess it just forced me to have that time.
Play a major part in many people's lives, no matter who you are. So just checking up on people as little as once or twice a week, especially close ones, can help both parties be in a more positive mood and improve mental state and well-being. Thank you for watching. And once again, the links for the mental health websites are in the description for any and everyone to go and have a look and visit. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. What is recycling? Recycling is the process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away as litter and turning them into new products. Recycling can benefit your community and the environment. This is a question you've probably asked yourself many times. Does recycling really matter? The answer is a resounding yes. And if you're still not convinced, here's why. If you think that recycling your canned products is just another pointless chore, think again. Recycling just one aluminium can can save energy to power a 100-watt bulb for around 4 hours. If you think there is not much point in recycling glass, know that glass can be recycled repeatedly with no loss in quality. Add this to the fact that 80% of recycled glass is made into new glass bowls, and for every 20 glass bottles you recycle, you save about 2 pounds of carbon emissions, and you'll see how important it is. There are only a few examples, but generally, the more waste you recycle, the less carbon emissions will end up in the atmosphere. And this equals to a healthier planet for us, and for many generations to come. What happens if we don't recycle? The planet may be abundant in natural resources, but at the rate we're using them up, it may not last for much longer. Then there's an issue of more waste going to landfill and more greenhouse gases being released into the atmosphere if we do not recycle. The importance of recycling. Recycling reduces the need to grow, harvest, or extract new raw materials from Earth. This in turn lessens the harmful disruption and damage being done to the natural world, such as fewer forests being cut down, rivers diverted, wild animals harmed, and less pollution of water, soil, and air. The fight against using plastic.
The polystyrene clam-shaped burger box, among the most common packaging in our takeaways, and one of the items the public wants to see banned the most. But it is not on the list of things being considered for a ban as the government ramps up its war on plastic waste.
The government is considering banning plastic plates, cups and cutlery, but according to the definition in the consultation, containers with lids aren't plates, so that means they don't fall under the scope of a ban. That means we could see a move away from plastic plates and trays to more of these.
Critics say England is already playing catch-up behind Scotland and Wales when it comes to tackling the problem, and that the current list just isn't enough. The UK government has already taken major steps to address the issue, like reducing the number of plastic bags in use and limiting the supply of single-use plastic straws. It promises to prevent all avoidable plastic waste by 2043. But with so many harmful alternatives still on the market, there's a long way to go.
The benefits of recycling. There are many benefits you can get from recycling, and let's go through some of them now. Reduce the size of landfills, conserve natural resources, more employment opportunities, saves energy, and stimulates the use of greener technologies. How can I recycle more? Many of us have good intentions when it comes to recycling, but some of us fall short. Some people get confused about recycling, or has the belief that it takes too much effort, whereas recycling more doesn't take particularly huge effort. Here are a few things you can do to start improving the way you recycle. Reduce or recycle plastic bags. If you have a big bundle of plastic bags at home, either reuse them when you're doing your weekly shop or take them to a recycling point, which now many supermarkets have. It is better to take your plastic bags to a recycling point rather than putting it in your recycling bin, as they can clog up machinery at a recycling plant. Crush plastic bottles and keep the lids on. This removes the air from the bottle and creates more space in your recycling bin and makes recycling more efficient. Give your recyclables a rinse. Don't put your greasy takeaway boxes straight into the recycling, as it can cause contamination, as will any bottles, jars or containers that have residue of food or drink left inside them. So it is best to give them a rinse and you will avoid contaminating the whole batch of recycling. If you were in the small minority and believed recycling wasn't that important, hopefully this video altered your perception on the importance of recycling. Recycling is important to everyone around the world, and doing your small part can keep your community, and most importantly, Mother Nature, happy. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Did you know that the UK is #1 for producing the most food waste in Europe? It is estimated to produce 14 million tonnes of food waste every year. That is almost twice the amount of Sweden and Spain, and a third higher than Germany, who is the second largest food waste producer in Europe. Hi guys, and welcome back to the I Have a Lifestyle YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about food waste in the UK, why it is bad, and how we can prevent this from happening. On average, the UK wastes up to £10.2 billion worth of food every year, according to the European Commission, which is calculated to each household in the UK wasting up to £250 to £400 worth of food per year. In 2018, the UK produced 9.5 million tonnes of food waste. It is estimated that 70% of that was consumable, whereas 30% of it was classified as inedible parts. According to research from Resource in February 2019, 65% of adults in the UK admitted to buying too much food that ends up being thrown away, with London and Newcastle reporting the highest rates of food waste, which resulted in the UK wasting up to £9.7 billion of food in 2019. In November 2019, the reported level of food waste was 24.1%, compared to November 2020, where this had decreased to 18.7% due to the pandemic, and the lowest level of food waste recorded was 13.7% during April 2020, which was during the first national lockdown. While there are many provisions in place to reduce food waste, the UK produces the highest amount of food waste in Europe. Over 1/3 of food that is produced globally contributes to waste. The UK throws away around 9.5 million tonnes of food waste in a single year, even though 8.4 million people in the UK are in food poverty. To really understand how many people that is only 1 million people less to the whole population of London, which is currently 9.4 million people. Wasting food is not only damaging your pocket, it is also damaging the environment. When food is thrown away into landfills, the waste produces a large amount of methane. As food rots and degrades, it emits these harmful gases, which are 25 times more harmful than carbon dioxide in terms of trapping heat into the atmosphere. There are many things we can do as a species to lower food waste to a minimum as possible, but here today we'll go through the most effective ways. Number 1. Don't let the size of your fridge fool you. As fridges have got bigger over time, people assume they need to fill their fridge. This can lead people to overshop, and as food has a sell-by date, once that date comes, it is recommended that that item is no longer good to consume. So therefore, you need to keep an eye on how much you buy and the dates on the products when you are buying them, which swiftly brings me on to my second point. There is a difference in dates, and it's best you understand them before you go shopping. There are two main dates that you need to take into consideration, and they are expiry date and best before date. What's the difference between them? Expiration date tells the consumer the last day the product is safe to consume. Best before date, on the other hand, tells you that the food is no longer in its perfect condition from that date, however it's still edible. It may lose some of its freshness, taste, aroma, or nutrients, but it's still edible for a consumer. If you have ever done this, you can always donate the extra food to a neighbour, or you can go that one step further and donate the food to a local food bank, as people who visit food banks are struggling and rely on others to donate. So if you ever find yourself with extra food, that's an option you could do which will benefit others as well as the climate. When it comes to preparing meal sizes, there are precautions you should take beforehand to ensure that you will not make more than needed. Use small dinnerware. Use your plate as a portion guide. Use your hands as a serving guide. And be aware of the suitable serving sizes. Too Good To Go and Olio are two apps that can help decrease food waste. You can sign up to these apps and visit restaurants at the end of the day when they will be throwing away items that they have not sold that day. However, some apps are only available in certain countries. For example, Too Good To Go was founded in 2015 and has saved nearly 80 million meals across 15 countries, which adds up to £200 million worth of food saved. As climate change is currently prominent, we want to showcase how important decreasing food waste can be. Food waste is one of the factors that is contributing to climate change, and there are many ways you can prevent food waste from happening. Doing this also protects the planet, and we all know how important saving the planet is. If you don't know how important saving the planet is, go watch our previous video on climate change. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Hi guys, and welcome back to the I Have a Lifestyle YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about veganism. Often people get confused between vegans and vegetarians. A vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat meat or fish, however will drink and eat natural sourced animal products such as milk and eggs. Whereas a vegan is defined as a person who eliminates all types of animal-based products from their life. For example, they will not eat meat or fish of any kind. In addition to this, vegans will not use any products delivered from an animal, such as milk, eggs, honey, fur, leather, and even certain soaps and toiletries. A vegan diet is just like any other diet, and there are pros and cons to it, and today in this video, we'll go through those pros and cons. Your health will improve over time because a vegan diet is very healthy, and a BBC study found that people who follow a vegan and vegetarian diet have a lower risk of heart disease. If you haven't watched our previous video, you should go and watch it after this one, as it will teach you about climate change and what is currently going on right now on planet Earth. Studies from The Independent have found that going vegan can be one of the biggest impacts on improving climate change. Due to cows and sheep having a complex digestive system, they burp out more methane gas than other farm animals. Methane is a very powerful but short-lived greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Now, although we said there are pros and cons of veganism, the pros of veganism outweigh the cons. However, we still need to go through the cons just to show that a vegan diet isn't for everyone. One downside to being a vegan is that it can be an expensive diet to follow. One reason why obesity has increased in the past decade is because of inflation in prices of the food. This is because junk food, and the food that isn't good for you, seems to be a lot cheaper than healthier foods. So many parents who may be struggling tend to buy cheaper, unhealthier food, as it is all they can afford. However, it does make their children overweight over time. A vegan diet is difficult to maintain when you have a physically demanding job, for example, manual labour like construction workers, or working within the sports industry, such as being an athlete, for example. Working within these fields requires a lot of strength and energy, which is produced from protein, which you can gain from a vegan diet, but is a lot harder compared to a meat-eating diet. Some people may not benefit from a vegan diet as they may miss out on supplements that they may rely on. There are substitutes in a vegan diet. However, if your diet isn't planned properly, you could miss out on essential nutrients. When it comes to a vegetarian diet, they need to make sure they get enough iron and vitamin B12, and vegans need to get enough calcium, iron, and vitamin B12. I would recommend anyone to try out a vegan diet, as in the long run it doesn't only benefit you, it also benefits the climate. A balanced vegan/vegetarian diet can reduce the risk of diabetes and is consistent with the principles of a medical nutrition therapy, such as increasing life expectancy, which we explained earlier. It may seem hard to convert straight into a vegan diet, so if you lower your meat intake and slowly transition into a vegetarian diet, it will be then easier to eventually move into a vegan diet. Thanks guys for watching this video, and I hope this video has changed your perception on veganism as it has changed mine, as personally I am not a vegan myself. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. What is bullying? Bullying is behaviour that somebody carries out to hurt somebody else. It can include physical and psychological hate, and there are many forms of this, such as name-calling, hitting, pushing, spreading rumours, threatening, undermining somebody who is vulnerable, and many more types of bullying. There are many different types of bullying, such as verbal bullying, physical bullying, cyberbullying, discrimination bullying, disability bullying, homophobic and transphobic bullying, racial bullying, and religious bullying. Where bullying can happen. The short answer is bullying can happen anywhere. For example, at college, university, work, online, or it could even happen publicly. However, it is most common in school amongst children. The term bullied at school was searched the most in these cities in the UK based on search volume and population of the area. We found that the term was searched the most per 100 people in Birmingham, Edinburgh, Liverpool, Manchester, Sheffield, Glasgow, London, Leeds, Bradford, and Gloucester. Signs of bullying. To spot somebody as being bullied can be quite hard unless you physically see it with your own two eyes or hear it with your own two ears, or better yet, was told by the victim. Each type of bullying has a different sign. So for example, emotional and physical will have different signs. Emotional and behavioural signs of bullying. Changes in sleep pattern, changes in eating pattern, frequent tears or anger, mood swings, feels ill in the morning, becomes withdrawn or starts stammering, becomes aggressive and unreasonable, refuses to talk about what is wrong, begins to target siblings, continually loses money and starts stealing. Physical signs of bullying: has unexplained bruises, cuts and scratches, comes home with missing or damaged belongings, comes home hungry. School signs of bullying: doesn't want to go to school, changes their route to school as they may be frightened, also might be frightened to take public transport, and grades start to fall randomly. Other signs of bullying: sometimes signs of bullying can be more hidden, and they can include often alone or feeling excluded from friendship groups at school, a frequent target for teasing, unable to speak in class as they may feel insecure. Effects of bullying: we all know bullying is a sensitive topic, so it's hard to talk about. However, bullying can affect both victim and the actual bully. Kids who are bullied can experience negative, physical, social, emotional, academic, and mental health issues. Kids who are bullied are more likely to experience depression, anxiety, increased feelings of sadness and loneliness, changes in sleep and eating patterns, and loss of interest in activities they used to enjoy. These issues may persist into adulthood. Bullying can lead to severe mental health issues, such as suicidal thoughts. A lot of times, bullies don't realize what they can say can severely affect people's lives, especially if they are young school children, as people have taken their life due to being bullied before. In 2020, a survey has showed that a huge 11% of people attempted suicide who were bullied.
Whereas kids who are bullies have an increased chance of engaging in violent and other risky behaviours into adulthood, such as getting into fights, vandalising property, dropping out of school, have an increased chance of engaging in early sexual activity, abusing the use of alcohol and/or drugs as adolescents into adulthood, having a criminal conviction when older, and being abusive towards their romantic partners, spouses, or children as adults. Therefore, parents, teachers, and the government must do all they can to fight bullying happening in the UK and be role model figures for the globe so other governments can take action in their respectable countries. We must do all we can to protect our loved ones. So please, if you're being bullied, please do not be embarrassed or scared to open up to somebody about your situation. In the long run, it will benefit you and the people that care about you a lot. And if you're someone who is currently a bully, I hope this video has opened up your third eye and you now see what you're doing is wrong. And I would plead you to stop. Whereas if you were a bully before, I hope you have learned from your mistakes and you are a much better person now. If you are a parent and you have a slight suspicion that your child isn't telling you everything and have a slight inkling and thinking that they could be potentially being bullied, don't be shy to visit the sites we have put in the description below. Take action fast. You wouldn't want to regret anything. Please like and share this video, subscribe with the bell notification on, and we'll see you next time. Hi guys, and welcome back to the I Have a Lifestyle YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about climate change, as this is something we need to work collectively to fix soon as possible for the sake of our future generations' quality of life. In the next few decades, humanity needs to come together to achieve a sustainable existence on Earth. Climate change is a long-term alteration of temperature and typical weather patterns in a place. People should care about climate change, as science suggests it is causing severe and unnatural weather patterns on our planet. Many countries are suffering from a vast increase in rate of storms than ever before. On the other hand, other countries are experiencing extreme droughts, affecting the survival of all forms of life, including plants, animals, and humans. It is predicted that by 2050, climate change will cause 9 billion people to be living on planet Earth, where we'll be fighting over resources for our own survival. And as our population booms, so will our demands. This clearly isn't sustainable, so we will need a better plan to distribute these resources fairly and to make things that we all depend on sustainable in the long run. If we do not act soon, our planet will face serious consequences due to our poorly thought out actions. Some of these effects will include our population increasing, carbon dioxide levels increasing in the atmosphere, the temperature of the sea rises, and our wildlife will eventually die out. Sir David Attenborough, a famous broadcaster and natural historian, claimed in a BBC interview this.
Well, we can look to the younger generation who are actually going to do it because they will actually be able to see the consequences of what they do. My lot are dying off. We are the ones that cause the problem. But if you can live in a more modest economic way as an ambition, don't waste things. Think this world is precious. Think your time is precious. Think that the rest of the natural world is precious, and all those things need cherishing. That's the fundamental attitude. The world is not a bowl of fruit from which we can just take what we wish. We are part of it, and if we destroy it, we destroy ourselves.
In the same interview, Sir David Attenborough said that there was one thing that we could all do to help climate change, and it would be
stop waste. Stop waste of any kind. Stop wasting power. Stop wasting food. Stop wasting plastic. Don't waste. This is a precious world. Celebrate and cherish.
What happened in the world? This planet is ours. There is just one problem. We are sort of out of touch with nature, and if we do not get back in touch with nature, this age of humans will be short-lived. When you investigate why this problem is occurring, one massive conclusion is that it's because the planet is becoming less wild. Our species have cut down over 3 trillion trees, most fishes in the oceans are being captured by fishermen, and over the past 50 years, the population of animals has decreased by 60%. A less wild world is less able to provide for our needs, less able to maintain dependable weather and seasons, and less able to absorb our impact. Everybody knows 2020 was an extreme year for all, and during this year, there was an extreme noticeable change in our climate, as it went from severe storms across the country causing a lot of damage in February to a summer heatwave where the weather at one point reached 34 degrees Celsius for 6 consecutive days, to then immense amounts of rainfall throughout October, where one of these days was recorded as the UK's wettest day ever on record. All of this information is recorded in an annual report, and it shows that the UK is getting wetter, warmer and sunnier.
The report compared the most recent 3 decades with the 30 years before and found that on average the UK was 0.9 degrees hotter. For rainfall, the country was an average of 6% wetter, and 2020 was the 8th sunniest year recorded in the last 100 years.
Signal from world leaders, from people like you, that we're going to solve this, it is now. In 2020, we have a key moment in history. Some have called it a super year, a coming together of major global decisions on climate, nature, oceans, and development. It could not be more important and far-reaching. What we do in the next few years will determine the next few thousand years. Thank you for your leadership so far, and I wish you every success in inspiring other world leaders to join you in this vital task. The plan for our planet is remarkably simple. Reduce our impact by making sure that everything we do, we can do forever. For the biggest gains, we could concentrate our efforts on 4 goals: phasing out fossil fuels and replacing them with renewables. This will not only slow the warming of the planet and the acidification of the ocean, but it will lead to clean air for all of us. Upgrading to efficient food production and reducing our consumption of meat. We'll require far less space to provide for ourselves, leaving more for grasslands, reducing deforestation and our demand for fresh water, and feeding more people with healthier, more affordable food. Working together to properly manage our ocean. A global network of no-fish zones,
and a treaty on the use of international waters would restore the health of the ocean so it actually produces more fish for us all to eat. Working hard to keep hold of the wild populations we still have, encouraging nature wherever we can. In the ocean, on land we no longer need, and even in our cities.
If we make these changes, we will be en route to becoming in touch with our nature once again. We will need to come together as one big community and stop wastage and make the planet more sustainable. Some examples are: use wind energy as it is cost effective. It is also a clean source and sustainable. Also, we need to go electric faster as pollution levels will decrease as well as fuels and emissions. This needs to be done for the better of everyone's health and well-being in the long run. We will all need to do our part as climate change affects all of us. When we successfully do this, we will then be proud of ourselves and be able to call it our planet. Please comment down below what you are going to do to help the climate. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible, as this is a very important matter, as well as liking and subscribing, and we'll see you next week. Hi guys, and welcome back to the iAlba YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about spring cleaning as it is currently the correct season for it. Spring cleaning isn't just a regular clean of your house. This is one of those deep cleans where the whole house gets cleaned and decluttered. Over the year, with celebrations such as birthdays, Eid, Halloween, Diwali, Hanukkah, and Christmas, a lot of unneeded clutter may start to build up in your home, taking up space that could be put to better use. Spring cleaning represents a fresh start and is normally done throughout the spring and summer seasons every year, hence the name spring cleaning. A common part of the house that often gets neglected is the ceiling and light fixtures. As they do not regularly get cleaned, they tend to collect a lot of dust over time. So it's time to get out the stepladder and start dusting. Also, as you are dusting your ceilings, it may be beneficial to check your smoke alarm batteries just to be on the safe side. While walking in and out of your house, you bring a lot of dirt and bacteria into your home, especially during the colder months when it is damp and muddy outside. Therefore, when entering your own home or somebody else's home, it is common practice to take off your shoes unless it is a gathering of some sort. Mold, dust, and loose pet hair often builds up over the colder months, which means there is less chance of air circulation. Whereas if you dust regularly, you will cause less sniffles, as it is not only just the cold weather that causes those. During the colder months, rain often causes dust and pollen to stick to the windows, making them appear smudged and dirty. For this reason, it is best to undergo window cleaning during spring and summer. Using glass cleaner for your windows will remove stains and smudges. Just make sure that you use it on a cloudy day to ensure that the sun won't dry out the cleanser before you are done wiping. Your fridge freezer should be cleaned regularly. However, during the summer season, it is best to delay your weekly shopping by 1 day or two so you can wipe down your fridge and defrost the freezer. Ice buildup occurs when warm, humid air encounters the cold evaporator coils in your freezer. Due to this, you should defrost your freezer at least once a year, for example, when spring cleaning. If you do not regularly clean your home, you are practically inviting things in that are attracted to dirt and warmth into your home, such as rodents and bugs. A spring clean can help you avoid the spread of bacteria and disease. Constantly sanitizing around pet food bowls and especially your bins is very important, as these areas in your home are most likely to encounter food and liquid spills, which entices rodents and bugs more than anything else. When it comes to spring cleaning, it is not all about cleaning per se. It is also about organizing your wardrobe. During spring and summer, the clothes you wear will be much lighter than the winter clothing you was wearing before. Therefore, you should take your time to go through your wardrobe and put the much heavier clothing such as hoodies, jumpers, and jogging bottoms towards the back, and bring your t-shirts, dresses, and shorts to the front. When organizing your wardrobe, there are questions you should ask yourself, such as, why didn't I wear them? Are they still my style? Do I still like them anymore? Will I wear them again next summer? And the most important question, do they fit me? Are they too big or too small? This question is important to us, iAlba, as many people would throw them away. but we urge you not to. If you are decluttering your house anytime soon, or already have, instead of throwing away your clutter and clothing, please bag it up and donate it to our partners, Sue Rider, who will be able to donate those items to those most in need. As they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. There are many benefits to spring cleaning, and these both can be physical and mental health benefits. For example, when your house is tidy, there is less chance of misplacing things, which will reduce the chance of stress occurring. It is also physically helpful as cleaning your house keeps you very active and burns many calories. It is ironic that keeping your house intact will keep yourself intact as well. Also, it has many health benefits as a clean environment minimizes the chances of catching illness. Everybody knew the importance of cleaning beforehand, but ever since COVID, everybody has been reassured on how to importantly clean and what the importance of cleaning can do. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment down below if you regularly have a spring clean yourself. Also, it would be much appreciated if you could like and share this video, and please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Ayaba Lifestyle YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about taking up gardening as it has many benefits to it. Gardening covers mental and physical well-being. It is also the right season for gardening, as the sunlight during summer will help the plants grow and provide energy to help the process of photosynthesis, which is the process that green plants use to make their own food. This requires water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide gas. One of the most important benefits is that gardening can help your mental health. It can help with your focus, concentration, and it is a good mood booster. Focusing your attention on an immediate task of gardening can reduce negative thoughts and feelings, and can make you feel better in the moment. So if you're ever feeling down, gardening is a great distraction as it can make you feel more peaceful and content. It has been scientifically proven that taking part in gardening can also help reduce the chances of having health problems later on in life. It has been proven that it can reduce the risk of strokes, Alzheimer's, and heart attacks from happening. When out in the sunlight, it heightens your vitamin D levels as well as lowering your blood pressure rate. It causes you to have less heart attacks, as by eating healthy food can increase your age expectancy, as it will be getting all the natural sources that your body needs. In a 2018 study, an international group of researchers led by a scientist at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that adopting 5 healthy habits could extend your life expectancy for 14 years as a woman and 12 years as a man. The study was to eat a diet which is high in plants and low in fats, which is a great segue into our next benefit, which is maintaining a healthy weight. When doing manual labor, it works your muscles so it can be seen as a form of exercise. Research has shown that an hour of gardening on average will burn between 100 and 500 calories. Growing your own fruits and vegetables give you access to fresh produce and can support a healthy eating program. Buying healthy foods regularly can be quite costly, so growing them yourself, you save money. Studies show that taking part in outdoor activities such as rock climbing, obstacle courses, and gardening can increase your attention span and mental productivity. As when doing these activities, you are focusing on one specific thing at a time with no distractions around you. If you struggle with staying focused on tasks in general, gardening can help you improve your concentration. For ex-prisoners and ex-drug users with a history of substance abuse, gardening has been shown to reduce their hostility, risk-taking, and spiraling into depression. It provides you with a sense of purpose, and the patience required for nurturing a plant helps reduce the impulse for instant gratification. Gardening engages you on a regular basis because when you start something such as growing your own plants or crops, you tend to nurture them over time. You need to keep an eye on them regularly so you can make sure that their growth progress is at a normal growth rate. There are many outdoor activities that you can do for exercise where there is no major responsibilities. Some examples are sports that you can just play with your friends, dog walking, and obstacle courses. All of these are good to take part in, but there is no major responsibility added. Therefore, gardening is such a great activity to take up.
The reason why gardening is good to take up during the summer is because the sun is out and the sun gives you vitamin D. Being exposed to vitamin D is a great benefit in itself as it releases a chemical in the brain that stimulates happiness. Plant-filled areas and homes can boost memory and heighten your attention span like we already spoke about previously. Gardening is an activity you can do all year round and should keep up with, but it is easier to take part during the summer months due to the weather and being exposed to vitamin D, which is one of the benefits. It is beneficial to take up an interest in gardening as plants need a responsible and reliable person to take care of them whilst they are growing. When growing your own plants, you are the one that can decide what goes into your soil, allowing you to reduce the amount of harmful chemicals that are polluting our environment and waterways. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment down below if you do any gardening yourself at home. Also, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Today I'm going to tell you 20 interesting facts about the Olympics as the Olympics is starting today. The first ever International Summer Olympics started in 1896 on the 6th of April up until the 15th of April, which was only a 9-day event and was held in Athens in Greece. There are 3 different types of Olympic events. International Summer Olympics, which started in 1896. There are Winter Olympics, which originally started in 1924 and was held in France. And the Paralympic Games, which was originally started in 1960 and held in Rome. Taking part in a sport can be fun, and it's proved in the Olympics that anyone can do it, as they allow people from all countries, no matter your gender or skin colour. The 1900s Games were played in Paris, and this was the first Olympic Games to allow women to take part. The winners were awarded paintings instead of medals. The Berlin Olympics, which was held in 1936, was the first ever to be broadcasted live on TV. During the 1936 Berlin Games, 2 Japanese pole vaulters tied for second place. So instead of competing again, they cut the silver and bronze medals in half, fused them together, and both had half of each medal. The oldest ever Olympian to win a gold medal is Oscar Swan, who is 60 in the 1908 Olympics. The Swedish man won his gold medal participating in sharpshooting. Conversely, the youngest Olympian to ever be awarded a gold medal was Marjorie Justring, who was a 13-year-old diver. She won her gold medal in the 1936 Olympic Games. London held the first ever post-war Olympic Games in 1948, which was only 3 years after World War II had ended. The 6 colours on the Olympic logo were chosen because every nation's flag contains at least one of the following colours: blue, yellow, black, green and red, which are the rings, against the white background. Mental health can be assisted by playing or watching sports. This has been proven as through the pandemic there was a spike in mental health cases, especially with men, when sports was stopped. The world record for most gold medals won by one person at one single Olympics is held by Michael Phelps, who won 8 gold medals in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. The 2012 London Olympic Games was the first Olympics where all countries participating sent female athletes to compete in various competitions. During the 17 days of the 2016 Summer Olympics, 10,500 athletes from 205 different countries represented 42 different sports and participated in 306 competitions whilst in Rio. Michael Phelps is the most decorated Olympian of all time, as he has achieved 28 medals collectively, 23 of which being gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. The official language of the Olympic Games is English and French, complemented by the language of the hosting country. The 2016 Olympics held in Rio was Great Britain's most successful overseas summer games, with the team returning home with 67 medals, where 27 of the medals were gold, 23 of them were silver, and 17 of them were bronze. It is good to take part in sports as it has many benefits, and the main 2 benefits are it can be mentally and physically beneficial. Currently, the USA have the most medals combined. However, the closest competitors are Great Britain with 867 medals, Soviet Union with 1,010 medals, and the United States of America top with 2,542 medals at time of recording. The first ever Olympics had only 9 sports compared to the 2020 Olympics, where there will be 33 sports which will be split into 339 separate events. This year's Olympics will be hosting 5 new sports, such as baseball, karate, surfing, skateboarding, and sport climbing. Japan have produced 5,000 Olympic medals from 78,985 tons of recycled electronic devices, which includes digital cameras, laptops, handheld games, and a whopping 6.21 million mobile phones. Futuristic robots will play an important role in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. From welcoming athletes and interacting with visitors, to providing a remote viewing to people who are not physically present at the games-related venues. The cost of the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo is estimated to be just over $26 billion, which is just over £18.7 billion. Playing sports is a great way for people who are interested in losing weight and for people who just want to keep active. Everybody knows the saying, time goes fast when you're having fun. And this is the case when playing a sport that you are interested in. Just going to a gym to exercise can become tedious, and some people can lose motivation and stop attending gym. Whereas if you can find a sport that you enjoy, whether it's a sport that you can play alone or join a team, this will be very beneficial as you can have fun as well as keeping in shape. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below what your favourite sport in the Olympics is. Hi there and welcome back to the IABA YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about a sensitive topic that should never have been a thing in the first place, but unfortunately still happens in today's society, which is racism. Throughout history there has been many black and ethnic minority people that have had to suffer to make the world somewhat of a better place, and today we will take you through that history. It is true that the first day of the 1936 Berlin Olympics, Hitler met and shook hands with all the German gold medalists. He also shook hands with some of the Finnish athletes. However, after Jesse Owens won his first gold medal, he was the first black athlete in the 1936 Olympics to do so, and Hitler did not shake his hand. In fact, he did not congratulate any gold medalist after the first day of the competition. Taking the knee is not something new, as back in 1965, Martin Luther King was the first to take a knee against racism and injustice during a march in Selma. This was a powerful pose. However, over 50 years later, there is still the same amount of institutional racism.
This guy, Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints, he's a massive NFL player and admits to the fact that a majority of his team are black guys. Basically, still tried to undermine what Colin Kaepernick did 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Can you remind people who don't know about this?
Colin Kaepernick was the man who knelt first during the national anthem, predominantly for what we believe was because of police brutality. And he believed that the national anthem, for that reason, was not representing the thing that they said it should represent, which was freedom and bravery.
And equality.
And equality, yeah. And at the time, he was basically told,
off.
You're done in this league.
No one signed him, from what I remember.
They froze him out.
But what was more amazing was he was such a great talent as well.
He was audacious at that time, yeah. He was very good. So he wasn't, let's be clear, he wasn't the best in the league, but he also wasn't the level where you go, yeah, you can't play.
So the fact that they got rid of him was astounding. And now he's been proven right in many regards, hasn't he?
The NFL could not be on the worst side of history here. The fact that you froze out a guy who was saying something that felt so right, ridiculous. And the coverage of this story here shows exactly why racism is A, institutional, and B, still a problem. Because the people covering LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick said, shut up, you've got a contract, you're just a sports star. The racist people who are in the media heard Drew Brees, who said, you need to be quiet, you shouldn't be kneeling during the national anthem, said, finally, a sports star who speaks out. And what's the difference between these two? Black and white guys.
Just before the biggest game in England's history, For over 55 years, the players took the knee in a powerful way in showing their stance against racism, which they did before every game throughout the Euro 2020 tournament. By the end, it was clear why they insisted on it. England's first game of the Euros was against Croatia, where England were successful with a 1-0 win thanks to Raheem Sterling. Before the game started, the England team took the knee. However, the crowd booed them for doing so. After this, Priti Patel was interviewed about her thoughts on this situation.
Extent as well. It's all well to support a cause and, make your voices heard. But actually, quite frankly, and we saw last year in particular with some of the protests that took place, I speak now very much from what I saw in the impact on policing. It was devastating outcomes.
The England fans are right to boo.
Well, that's a choice for them, quite frankly.
Would you be booing if you were in the stands?
I've not gone to a football match to even sort of, contemplate that. But I maintain my point, quite frankly, that we learn from our past. We don't try and rewrite it.
After the final, we all know Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford and Bukayo Saka all received racist abuse just because they didn't score their penalty. After this, Priti Patel tweeted out saying she was disgusted by the abuse that these players were receiving, and quite rightly so. However, this contradicted what she said after the Croatia game, so Tyrone Mings, Aston Villa defender, brought it up and challenged her point. For a man who missed his penalty in the 1996 Euros semi-finals against Germany, Gareth Southgate knew the pressure you feel when taking a penalty for your country. Many pundits said after the game that putting that much pressure on a 19-year-old kid who had never taken a professional penalty in his career beforehand over experienced players such as Raheem Sterling, John Stones or Jack Grealish may have been the wrong decision.
Sterling or Grealish, you cannot sit there and have a young kid walk up ahead of you. You can't. I don't care if
you think they should have volunteered?
You can't sit there and go, I see a young kid, 90, a child walking up in front of me, and I've played a lot more games, I've got a lot more experience. Sterling has won trophies. I'm not saying he wasn't prepared. Gareth might have been thinking you're going to be 6 or 7. You can't sit there. That must be hard to take. You've got to get in front of this young kid and say, listen, I'll step up before you.
However, Jack Grealish had something to say about that. Twitter admitted to removing over 1,000 posts after the initial 24 hours after the final, and Facebook, who own Instagram, said they also did the same. However, they did not do enough, as many tweets were still left on these platforms. However, the abuse wasn't just online. Straight after the penalty shootout, Marcus Rashford's mural was defaced. This then went viral overnight, and the following morning it was quickly rectified and the abusive graffiti was covered up. Then the community came together and placed supportive messages over the abuse and covered the graffiti on the mural. It is ironic that many of the racist abuse was sent out by people who were reliant on Rashford using his platform to stand up to the government, making sure they did not stop feeding the children who are entitled to free school meals just because they were not at school. After many public tweets from Rashford, the government finally did the right thing and gave food packages to school, where the children would come with their parents and be able to collect them. If it wasn't for Rashford, many of these children would have gone hungry throughout the pandemic, and many parents would have struggled even more than they already did. When Rashford was fighting to feed the nation, he was fighting for all children, no matter of their skin colour, background or religion. Then for missing one penalty kick, he received a substantial amount of racial abuse. After these players received racist abuse, 3 women decided to set up a petition to ban racists for life from all football games. After it went viral that the 3 players that didn't score their penalties received racist abuse, they all received thousands of positive messages overwhelming the minority of racists. After a few days of recovering from the devastation of just missing out on the country's first international trophy in 55 years, came out with statements apologising and letting people know how they felt. One wise man once said, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor." Sadly, racism is still around today. But we all know for a fact that racism is taught and you're not born racist. So if you are able to be taught how to hate, you should be able to taught how to love, as love is more natural to give out. Racism is not acceptable. End of. Hold everybody around you accountable for their actions and what they say, whether it is your family, friends, partner, colleagues, or more importantly, our authorities.
As of this morning, there have been 571 cases and 17 people are reported to have died.
Now back on British soil. Now we understand that the plane won't be hanging around long. The 83 British nationals and some military and medical personnel will disembark.
At the conference today, they gave the virus a name, COVID-19, coronavirus disease.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody, you'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands. And
we have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. Hi folks, I want to bring you up to speed with something that's happening today, which is that I've developed mild symptoms of the coronavirus, that's to say a temperature and a persistent cough. And on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer, I've taken a test that has come out positive. Of August, you'll remember we had hoped to reopen in England a number of the higher risk settings that had remained closed. And today, I'm afraid we're postponing those changes for at least a fortnight.
I'm a black male. I've gone through this my whole life. Never asked for any of it. It's a big problem, but the smaller problems that go on every single day, that people need to understand that this is how small problems become big problems.
I can't have my daughter walking around thinking this is okay. This is not okay. It's definitely not okay. And I don't want her to feel like anywhere she goes in the world, from today onwards, it's going to be a problem for her.
To get customers back into restaurants, cafes and pubs, and protect the 1.8 million people who work in them, I can announce today that for the month of August, we will give everyone in the country an Eat Out to Help Out discount. Meals eaten at any participating business, Monday to Wednesday, will be 50% off, up to a maximum discount of £10 per head for everyone, including children.
We are today simplifying, standardising and in some places toughening local rules in England by introducing 3 levels of COVID alert. Medium, with existing national measures such as the rule of 6 and the closure of hospitality at 10 p.m. High, with extra measures including a ban on indoor social mixing between households or support bubbles. And very high for places where, without further action, the NHS will swiftly be under intolerable pressure.
The England and Manchester United footballer Marcus Rashford has been speaking about his own experiences of poverty and being short of food as a child as part of his campaign for the government to provide free school meal vouchers for vulnerable children throughout the school holidays. He's written to every MP for support after helping to raise £20 million for food for low-income families during the lockdown. Our education correspondent Elaine Dunkley reports.
Has not been on the field long.
He's a hero on the pitch and one of Manchester United's highest earning players. But Marcus Rashford hasn't forgotten his roots. He has raised £20 million to supply meals to families in what he calls the pandemic of food poverty.
By any standard, Margaret is an extraordinary woman. She's 90, healthy, and only retired 4 years ago.
Just going to be squeezing your arm, okay? Okay. Relax your arm for me.
At 6:31 this morning, she became a little more remarkable. Margaret was given the first coronavirus vaccine and with it a place in British medical history, a place she doesn't regret.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the IABA Lifestyle YouTube channel. Many people have lost their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the worldwide deaths have just reached over 4 million. In the UK specifically, at time of recording, we have just hit over 128,000 deaths. At time of recording, in England, we have reached over 113,000 deaths. Compared to Scotland, who just have over 7.5 thousand deaths. Compared to Wales, who have just over 5.5, and compare that to Northern Ireland, who just have over 2,000. However, a lot of people unfortunately lost their jobs, and unemployment in the country has never been so high. As the country went into lockdown officially on March 26th, people who were celebrating their birthday from this day onwards to June 1st had to celebrate indoors with the people they lived with if they did have someone to live with. During the height of the pandemic, a lot of people were put onto furlough if they were not able to work from home. The unemployment rate in 2019 was estimated to be 3.8%, compared to 2020 when the estimated rate went up to 4.12%. Over in America, in the state of Minneapolis, Minnesota, George Floyd was an innocent black man who was killed by state police officer Derek Chauvin. He was being arrested on suspicion of using a counterfeit $20 bill. George Floyd did not resist arrest. However, Officer Chauvin still put him down to the ground and knelt on his neck with his full body weight. George Floyd repeatedly told the officer he could not breathe. He was also polite to the officer as he was calling him officer till the bitter end. Yet Chauvin still did not move. There was also 3 other officers there with Chauvin and stood next to him and did nothing. This unfortunate event sparked outrage across the world as this situation was recorded and went viral on the internet. As this has happened many times in America, people went out in their thousands to show support in doing peaceful protests. This also sparked interest across the world and had a massive impact on the UK, as many people also went out in their thousands to protest the Black Lives Matter movement. Before the pandemic in July 2019 up until March 2020, only 10% of adults were showing reported symptoms of depression. However, by June 2020, it rose to 19% of UK adults reporting symptoms of depression. Anxiety in the UK has always been high among school children. However, when it comes to adults, the stats show that from January to June 2020, only 10% of adults were showing symptoms of anxiety, compared to December 2020, at the end of the pandemic, that 42% of adults were showing reported symptoms of anxiety. Children who were born during a pandemic are not used to seeing people as they are used to being in their homes all day, every day. However, 18-month-old babies will now struggle to mix with others. Students are struggling going back to school as they are leaving their support bubble and being amongst strangers on the way to and back from school, as well as mixing with their friends whilst at school. This can cause some students to stress and worry about catching the virus and possibly passing it on to a family member back home who may be at high risk. This video has taught us many things. Although you may be a child and very young, and your brain may not fully be developed, you can still be going through mental health issues. The past 18 months have been very hard on the nation and for the world. For those who have lost family members and or friends during these terrible COVID times and are struggling with how to cope with your unfortunate loss, you can go online and check out our partners over at Sue Rider. They offer online support and will be there whenever you feel like you need to talk to somebody, as many people find talking about bereavement and grief awkward. However, over at Sue Rider, they have specialist counsellors who you can speak with. If you are in the situation or know somebody going through a tough time, please check out their link in the description and use their services. The charity Shelter in 2019 estimated that 280,000 people were homeless in England, which means 1 in every 200 people find themselves homeless. The fact many people lost their jobs meant they could no longer afford housing, which meant many people became homeless. They were not able to visit either friends or family as the virus was spreading rapidly. However, in January 2021, 11,263 people remained in emergency accommodation, and 26,167 people have been moved into permanent accommodation throughout the scheme. The government has promised another 6,000 long-term homes will be made available for rough sleepers and therefore will be protected from the virus. If you would like to help someone in this position, you could donate to a local food bank such as the Salvation Army, as they are partners with us and help people in vulnerable situations such as being homeless. Many families were struggling to provide for their children during the lockdown. However, Marcus Rashford went out of his way to make it known to the government that stopping free school meals for people that were entitled to it was wrong. Due to his services, he became the youngest person ever to receive an MBE title at the age of 22 and now officially goes by the name Marcus Rashford MBE. Now, I hope everybody takes care of themselves, likes this video, shares the video, also subscribes and hits the notification bell so you will never miss an upload, and comment down below what was your highlight and worst moment of 2020, and I will be reading and replying to all of them. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Ayaba Lifestyle Improvements YouTube channel. Before the 1960s, it was seen as a crime if you were gay. Therefore, many gay people were very insecure about coming out. During the 1960s, it is also illegal to go out with a partner who's the same sex as you for a drink or a dance. Many establishments would not allow gay people or gay couples into their bars as they feared potential raids or fines. This is because during the 1960s, the police were regularly raiding gay bars. However, on June 28th in 1969, at the Stonewall Inn in Manhattan, which was targeted by the police and raided, this club was also run by the mafia at the time. The raid got out of hand and the tension between the New York police and gay residents in the local area rose. This caused the Stonewall riots, and these protests were carried out over the next nights and days since the original raid. The Stonewall riots were a series of spontaneous demonstrations by members of the gay community in response to the police raid. These bars were regularly raided as police had intel that gay people and gay partners would meet up there regularly. A month after these protests finished, New York saw their first ever organised LGBT march in their city, which is where people were proudly admitting their sexuality. This then sparked interest internationally, and now many other states and countries have their own supportive LGBT marches. Brenda Howard is a bisexual woman who organised the first ever LGBT march. To the community, she is seen as the mother of pride. However, back in 2003, she unfortunately passed away. The parade influenced other cities around the world, laying the groundwork for pride parades internationally. And the Stonewall Inn has become an iconic moment in the LGBT history. Setting up these marches became a lifelong passion for Brenda Howard. The first Pride Parade held in London was organised by several organisations, held on the 1st of July in 1972. Since the first official UK Pride Parade, all of the parades held in London have been on the first Saturday in July, as this is normally the closest date to the Stonewall Riot anniversary. Many more countries are allowing same-sex marriage and partnerships, which is good as this will make people feel more confident and revealing their true sexuality. This is a benefit to the mental health side of things, as some people who grow up in countries where it's forbidden will feel more trapped and never be able to feel truly happy. Over the years, each country that holds gay pride parades have all seen growth in the LGBT community in their native cities. These groups are formed by people who are either lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, or just support these people. The countries that allow this are the Netherlands, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, Norway, Sweden, and many more. After years of marches, countries started to legalize homosexuality. However, there are still 69 countries that haven't legalized it yet. These countries consist of Algeria, Afghanistan, Cameroon, Jamaica, Ghana, Lebanon, Malawi, Qatar, and many more. Although the previous statement was gloomy, let's get on to something to brighten the mood. Back in 1989, Denmark was the first country to legalize gay marriage. Then out of all of the English-speaking countries, Canada was first to legalize gay marriage in 2005. Then the UK legalized it in 2013. Over in America, it was then legalized in 2015. And our most recent introduction from only 4 years ago was Australia legalizing it in 2017. Each colour on the famous LGBT flag has a meaning. Hot pink represents sexuality, red represents life, orange represents healing, yellow represents sunlight, green represents nature, turquoise represents magic and art, indigo represents serenity and harmony, and violet represents spirit. Alan Turing was a man of many talents, as he was an English mathematician, a computer scientist, a logician, a philosopher, and a theoretical biologist. Which is weird considering he used to frustrate his teachers during school and generally got bad grades throughout. With Alan Turing's skill set, he became a secret codebreaker for the government during World War II, where he played a significant role in breaking into the German communications to see their plan. As he was alive when being gay was seen as a crime, he was forced to undergo chemotherapy castration or go to prison. He took the castration punishment instead of going to prison. Shortly after the treatment, he was then found in his bed with a half-eaten apple by his side, which was laced in poisoning. His cause of death is believed that he committed suicide. Alan Turing is a blessing to mankind, which is why on December 24th, 2013, he was pardoned of all of his crimes. This was also the year gay marriage was legalised in the UK. This year, in 2021, the new £50 banknote was released, and Alan was recognised for what he had contributed to the country, who was then placed on the new note. At the end of the day, the reason why you should accept people for who they really are is because this creates a better community around you. If you are hostile to people around you, this creates a toxic neighbourhood, and can deteriorate other people's mental health. Whereas when you accept them for who they really are, they are more happier and more confident around you, which then has a better outcome on everybody's well-being. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, and welcome back to the IABA YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the benefits of meditation. A great positive is that meditating is completely voluntary. What I mean by this is that you can get involved whenever you're interested. And if you are unsure, I suggest watching this video and listening to the benefits before making your final decision. Before we start, you need to know there are 9 types of meditation, and today you will learn which technique is best for you. Mindfulness, spiritual, focused, movement, mantra, transcendental, progressive relaxation, loving kindness, and visualization. Mindfulness meditation. This type of meditation is where you focus all your energy on your thoughts. You will not judge these ideas or participate in them. You just need to observe and pay attention to the patterns. This type of meditation is suitable for people without the guidance of a teacher because it can easily be practiced alone. Spiritual meditation. This type of meditation is famous in Eastern religions such as Hinduism and Taoism, and is well known and used in Christian beliefs. You will reflect on the silence around you and seek a deeper connection with your God or the universe. Focused meditation. Concentration meditation involves using any of the 5 senses to focus attention. For example, you can focus on internal things such as breathing, or you can introduce external factors to help you focus. Movement meditation. Although most people think of yoga when they listen to meditation exercises, this practice can include walking in the woods, gardening, and other gentle forms of activity. This is an active form of meditation where exercise guides you. Mantra meditation. Mantra meditation is prominent in many teachings, including Hindu and Buddhist traditions. This type of meditation uses repeated sounds to clear the mind. Some people like mantra meditation as they find it easier to focus on a repetitive word or sound rather than silence. Transcendental meditation. This form of meditation is similar to mantra meditation, as you use a mantra or a series of words specific to your meditation journey. This form of meditation is suitable for those who like structure and participate in meditation regularly. Progressive meditation, also known as body scan meditation, is an exercise designed to reduce physical tension and enhance your natural relaxation. Generally, this form of meditation involves slowly tensing and relaxing a group of muscles throughout the body at a time. This form of meditation is generally used to relieve stress and relax before bed, helping you fall asleep easier. Loving kindness meditation. This type of meditation is used to strengthen your feelings of compassion, kindness, and acceptance for yourself and others. This meditation may be ideal for those with feelings of anger or resentment. Visualization meditation. Visual meditation is a technique that focuses on enhancing relaxation, peace, and calm by visualizing positive scenes or images. Throughout this practice, it is important to visualize the scene vividly and use all 5 senses to add as much detail as possible. Many people use visualization meditation to improve their mood, reduce stress levels, and promote inner peace. The place you choose for meditation is up to you. If you need some ideas of where to go, here are some suggestions. At home in a room where you are alone and no one will distract you. If you have a garden, use this to your advantage to spend some time with nature. You can go on a walk through the woods, as they're usually quieter than a park. If you have some free time at work or school, find a quiet place and take a moment to gather your thoughts. Another great benefit is that you can do it in your own time. This means you can meditate for as long or as short as you want. This is great as everyone has their own life to get on with, and meditation can easily be adjusted to their schedule. Meditation is cost-free. To meditate, all you really need is yourself and nothing else. However, some people like to use calming music, which can easily be provided but isn't essential. The main aspects that meditating helps improve are lowering your blood pressure, reducing anxiety, increasing your pain tolerance, lowering the chance of depression, and improving sleep. Now that you've seen all the types of meditation, as well as the positive effects they have on our life, leave a comment on which meditation you feel is better suited to you and which benefit you feel will help you the most. For more videos like this, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, and welcome to Araba's YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing negative effects of not following a sleeping routine, and then discuss the benefits of following a sleeping routine. As you can see from the chart on the screen, every age group has a certain amount of hours of sleep that they should aim to get each night. Sleep deprivation, also known as sleep insufficiency or sleeplessness, is the condition of not having adequate duration or quality of sleep to support decent alertness, performance, and health. Now, I'm going to speak about the negative effects of not having a regular sleeping pattern. Unfortunately, there are several negative effects when you do not follow a regular sleeping pattern, and this includes trouble with thinking and concentrating on your daily routines. If you do not get enough sleep on a regular sleeping pattern, this could affect your creativity during the day and productivity. Another negative effect of an irregular sleeping pattern is memory issues. Whilst you are sleeping, your brain processes links in your brain. This is so you can remember different types of information. Therefore, if you do get a lack of sleep on a daily basis, this will start to affect your short-term and long-term memory. Also, you can get mood swings during the day when you are not getting the recommended hours of sleep for your age. Another potential problem associated with sleep deprivation is an increased chance of diseases. Lack of sleep could possibly increase blood pressure. Having an increased blood pressure is also linked to having diabetes. If you already have high blood pressure, not getting enough sleep can make your blood pressure worse. Another negative effect of sleep deprivation is poor balance. This means that you can have a lack of coordination. You can be at a higher risk of having physical accidents, such as losing your balance, falling over, and walking into objects. Now, we are going to discuss how you can avoid these side effects and have a good night's sleep. To start off, you need to plan your sleep ahead of time. You need to see how many hours your age group should have each night. Then, you should attempt to get into bed 1 hour before. This will give you the chance to slowly relax and calm down before falling asleep. Once you have done this, try to turn off all electronics so that there are no distractions. It is no surprise that you can feel the effects of a good sleeping pattern in comparison to an irregular sleeping pattern. Feeling the benefits of good sleep will naturally have you in a better mood. When you feel good, the people around you feed off your positive energy. So sleeping enough can help you maintain a good personal relationship with family members, friends, partners, and colleagues. Not only does this have a critical role in your physical health, but it also plays a part in your mental health. One way to try and monitor your mental health is to get enough sleep. If you get into a routine, your brain will be less prone to stress because it is used to a regular plan daily. No matter what age group you are in, concentration levels are important throughout daily life, especially if you're in school or work. It has been proven that those who have a regular sleeping pattern produce better grades in comparison to those who don't have a regular sleeping pattern. This is the same for work. Those who prioritize their sleep perform at a higher level in comparison to those who don't prioritize their sleep. Now, I've gone through the negative effects of not having a regular sleeping pattern and the positive effects of having a sleeping pattern. Don't forget to like, comment below which point you found most interesting, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Ayaba Lifestyle Improvements YouTube channel. This video is going to show you that although you may not be able to leave the country, you can still travel around your native city. So in this video, I will travel around London to see and show off some of the most famous landmarks in the city. Identified as studies found forensic stains of Aaron Kamiński, who was a 23-year-old barber from Poland. Guy Fawkes is the reason why we celebrate Bonfire Night on the 5th of November, as on this day in 1605 he attempted to blow up Parliament with 36 barrels of gunpowder. This is a brief history of our British heritage, which the London Dungeon will take you through. At the end of the South Bank Strip, we then walked onto Westminster Bridge, which we saw many landmarks, such as the Parliament, Big Ben, the London Eye, the London tour buses, and Westminster Bridge itself. The Big Ben Tower was fully built by the 28th of September in 1843, whereas the bell was fully constructed by the 31st of May in 1869. The Big Ben is currently being renovated, and the renovation started in August 2017 and is predicted to finish by 2022. The Houses of Parliament is one of the most historic buildings in London's history. The project took 20 years to finish. We then carried on our journey to Greenwich. The reason why we came to Greenwich is because it is a good place to visit, as the park has many activities to get involved with. Greenwich also has a great view over London, which is why it is a great place for tourists, as they can get many great pictures of famous landmarks. In Greenwich Park, there is a famous observatory, and right next to the observatory, there is a great place where you can oversee London landmark. One of the relaxing things to do in a park is you can walk through the lovely flower garden. The garden was originally laid out way back in the 1890s and has been one of the most famous flower gardens in the UK. This is a quiet and calming place which you can use to your advantage by using this place to do things such as exercise, meditation, or a walk alone to take your mind off stress whilst taking in beautiful views. The Millennium Dome started construction in June 1997 and the dome was complete by December 1999. The building initially opened on December 31st, 1999, as it was a new building for the 21st century and cost around 700 million to make. It is now more famously known as the O2 Arena. The Emirates cable cars will travel from North Greenwich Station all the way through to East London, where it will stop at the Royal Victoria Docks. Around the docks there is the Excel Centre, which is an exhibition and international convention centre located between Canary Wharf and London City Airport. Thank you for watching this video, and comment down below if you've been to any of these places in London. Give it a like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hi guys, and welcome back to the I Have a Lifestyle Improvement YouTube channel, and today, as you can see, it is a different type of video. We're going to be doing a Euros projector. It is Monday, so I'm a bit late, so we have seen a few games, but that probably won't influence my decision because, well, we'll see when we get through. But yeah, so let's just go through straight away. In the first group, in Group A, we have Switzerland, Turkey, Wales, and Italy. Now, if we're being realistic, as we saw on opening day, Italy won 3-0 emphatically against Turkey. So I believe Italy, before that game, I believed Italy were going to win every one of their games in this group, and I still do. Do you know what? I'm going to put Wales last, although they did have a decent run. I think it was the Euros in 2016. I think they got to the quarters or something. But I don't know. I just don't really rate their team as much. I think that they've still got Wayne Hennessy in goal, who's quite old as well. So, but yeah, Wales ain't making it for me. A lot of people have been talking about this Turkey side, but even before the opening game, I mean, even just I just really haven't seen what's so good about them, and a lot of people do rave about them. But personally, I see them coming third. Switzerland, I believe they'll come second because Switzerland actually have a very good squad. They got Sommer in goal, they've got Akanji at the back, Zakaria, Shaqiri, Mbolo, Xhaka. They've got a few decent players, Rodriguez and Babu. So yeah, I believe Switzerland actually have a decent squad, so I can see them coming second. And did you know about Switzerland that it's the only country in the world with a square flag? And a bit of knowledge there for you. Anyways, next group, moving on to Group B, where we have Russia, Belgium, Denmark, and Finland. Okay, so Belgium was on top. Pretty self-explanatory. Quality in their team is just head and shoulders above everyone else in their group. Denmark, as I am recording this on Monday over the weekend, sadly, Eriksen did have a heart attack, but currently he's fine. He's put out a statement saying he's in stable condition. Well, I think it was the Denmark FA that did that, but that's good to know. And I think although Eriksen was their best player, I believe they could galvanise the team. Although they did lose to Finland, I believe it was 1-0. I believe they could beat Russia. And for that, I'm going to put Russia last. But then Belgium, I believe Belgium will win every game. So this is actually very hard considering they lost to Finland. So do you know what, actually? I might put Denmark third. But there's always an upset. And Denmark could surprise Belgium and beat them. I mean, realistically, it probably won't happen. But because, I thought you never know, they could just do it for Eriksen. So do you know what? I'll put them second. Finland, they'll come third. Russia, I'm putting last. I mean, last World Cup in 2018, they did all right. They got pretty far. I can't remember where, but I remember they got pretty far. I'm pretty sure quarterfinals maybe or something like that. But yeah, it was in their country, the last World Cup. They had the oldest squad, but ran the longest miles. And they're known for certain enhancers. Now, I'm not making any claims. You can add up the dots yourself, but I don't know about that. Their team is quite old, so I'm gonna, other than Golovin, don't really know any. Golovin's pretty young to be fair, but other than Golovin, I can't really think of many players that play for Russia. So therefore, Russia come last for me. North Macedonia straight away. Oh, okay, North Macedonia. They're coming for. They're not even getting a point. The best they could do is just play like 9 at the back and just try and not concede as much. Yes, I think this group is pretty straightforward actually, because I believe Netherlands, though they haven't got Van Dijk. I mean, Van Dijk gets back, I'm pretty sure, but he said he's not going to go to the Euros to work on his fitness for the Premier League season. So fair enough. I believe Austria, they don't have many players I can think of from the top of my head. All I can think of is Alaba, the main one, but Ukraine. Do you know what I mean? It's Ukraine. So realistically, Austria, they do have a few players, I just can't think of them off the top of my head. So those are those groups. And now we come to the more interesting groups, where we have England, Scotland, Croatia, and Czech. England, you're coming top because football's coming home, isn't it? So we're gonna have England top there. We just got a lot of great talent. You know, we've got Mount, Foden, Sancho, Kane, Sterling. I don't know if he sees them, but he scored a winner against Croatia. Phillips, man of the match for me, had a decent game. Stones and Mings at the back were okay. Trippier actually played very well at left back, weirdly enough. You know, it was a weird decision to play him there, but you know, he did. Kyle Walker was a bit iffy as well that game, I can't lie. But you know, we've got Reece James, Luke Shaw, Maguire to come back, who might be fit for the Czech game, I believe. Chilwell, don't think I said him. So you know, we've got a lot of quality through this team. So I believe England will top the group. Our next game on Friday, when this video will be out, will be against Scotland. And I believe that Scotland will come last. They are facing Czech today. So if they beat Czech, then maybe Czech will come last. But I mean, the best result for England between Czech and Scotland will probably be a draw. But I don't know. I'm rooting for Souček. So I believe Czech will come third. And Croatia, they'll probably come second. I think the performance against Croatia from England was very, very... It wasn't a good performance, but it was a little bit better than average. So I'd say maybe like a 6. It wasn't the best game. You were scratching your head for man of the match. You can either choose Sterling for scoring the goal, but to be fair, he wasn't having the best of games. And then Phillips, I think, had the best game out of everyone. So I would say Phillips was winning the match. So yeah, England, Croatia, Czech, Scotland. That's my prediction. Now this group is very tricky. Slovakia will come last. The rest is very, very tricky, purely because a lot of people say Spain top, but Spain are not the team they used to be. They're not. They're really, really not. They've got Morata up front. Who's their midfield nowadays? Koke, Sal. I don't know. Does Herrera? I don't know. Nah, probably not. They've got Pau Torres at the back with Laporte, who's left the French and gone to the Spanish. They're really not the team they used to be, but I will put them top. Sweden and Poland can go either way because they both have very good strikers. That's all I can really say for Poland have a decent goalkeeper, to be fair. They have Szczesny. And then Sweden have Lindelof at the back, who probably plays better than he does for Man United, which is the team I support. Hasn't had a very good season. So I believe he could get dominated by a lot of defenders, a lot of strikers, as he does for Man United. So I'm going to put Sweden last. I mean third, sorry. And Poland will come second. And then we get to the group of death. Hungary, again, a bit like North Macedonia. Try and play as many people at the back because you are going to concede a hell of a lot of goals because the teams you're coming up against are going to be just... It's going to be nuts. France, they're favourites. They're going to top the group realistically. They're probably going to go all the way. Stay tuned and you'll see. Portugal and Germany. This is the hard part because, again, a bit like Sweden and Poland, it can go either way. Portugal seem like a team to me of just individuals. You know, they got Ronaldo, they got Silva, they got Fernandes and all this, but I don't know. Whereas the Germans, to me, seem like more of a team. I don't know. They just seem a bit more cohesive, in my opinion. However, tomorrow is Hungary versus Portugal. I believe Portugal will just slap Hungary like 3-0 or something. But I don't know. I feel like Germany and France could draw. I feel like Germany could get a draw out of France. But then that puts Portugal top. at the time, and then they really only have to get the draw against Germany to beat Germany. The draw against France. Do you know what? I'm going to put Portugal second, even though what I said. Then I'm going to put Germany third. However, that doesn't matter purely because you can pick, the 4 best third place teams. So Germany are going to be first. See, I feel like Finland could go through. I don't know. I just have this thing about Finland because there's always, what I've done is I've just put all the favourites through. But normally there's always an upset. And I believe the upset could be that Spanish group, possibly. I don't know. I'm going to put Finland through. I just have a feeling they're going to go through. Everyone's raving about this Turkey team. Now, I haven't seen anything from Turkey that convinces me that they'll go through. So you know what? I'm going to put Czech through because I just have a feeling about Czech. I just have a feeling they'll do something. Ukraine, I'm not going to bother. I don't think they're getting through. So I believe it's out Sweden and Turkey. And to me, Sweden just seem like a better team. They seem more cohesive than the Turkish team, in my opinion. But I haven't seen much of Turkey and I haven't seen much of Sweden. So I'm going off what I've seen. I've heard a lot of people talk about Turkey, but personally, if I'm wrong, comment below, let me know. But I'm going to go for Sweden. So they're the teams I'm going for. And now we're in the round of 16. Cool. So Germany, Belgium. Ooh, that is a tricky one. They've just got the same flag. I've noticed that, but Belgium got it that way. Germany got it that way. Random. Anyways, Belgium, Germany. Belgium have got a lot of. See, Belgium are a team that just. They seem like they don't gel. Like a bit like Portugal. Like they're a bit individual. Team of individuals. I can't say the word. You know what I meant. But then Germany, I can see the Germans taking this one, you know. But then Lukaku, he can score goals. He's in the form of his life this season. Just come back with winning the Serie A, Inter and Conte. Do you know what? I'm gonna say Germany. I don't know. I want to say Belgium. I'm gonna say Germany. I see Germany doing it. Italy versus Austria. Italy, that's pretty simple, to be fair. France, Finland. France, I'll probably batter them 3-0, easy. Croatia, Poland. Now, this is a tricky one, you know. I see Croatia, you know, taking this one. But Poland could beat them. But I see Croatia. And then that leaves in the quarterfinal. The final from last year. Moving on. Oh no, oh no. We're going to come to England and Portugal last. Spain. Do you know what? No. Check. Because you know what? Spain are not the team everyone. That's what I was going to. Yeah, do you know what? That could be the upset. Check, get to the quarterfinals. Because there's always an upset. And Spain aren't the team they used to be. So do you know what? I'm going for that. Netherlands versus Sweden. Netherlands should take it even without their best centre back. Switzerland and Denmark. I don't know. I believe Switzerland. I know Denmark, you know, I said do it for Ericsson, but I think Switzerland's got a little bit more quality than Denmark. So sadly, I see Denmark leaving now. England, Portugal. I believe if England can beat Portugal, which will be very, very hard, there's going to be Ronaldo who wants to, you know, although, you know, he has love for, you know, some United supporters, he wants to shut England up, won't he? You know, he would love that, I'm pretty sure. And then Fernandez, you know, just to, other than United fans, you know, just show the haters, you know, that he's an amazing footballer. But I have a feeling that England can genuinely beat Portugal. And this isn't biased just because, you know, I'm from England, that's for England. I believe with the quality we have, we can beat them. So do you know what? I'm backing my boys. England, we're winning. We're beating Portugal. We are. Germany, Italy. I believe Italy are going, I don't know. because here they come up against France. France beat Croatia. Italy beat Germany. Germany ain't that strong. This is a very, very strong quarterfinal. I mean, if that was a final, that wouldn't be a bad final, but it's the quarterfinal. I mean, semi-final, sorry. Here, I think we're probably going to beat Czech in our group. So, you know, if we come up against them again, we'll beat them. Netherlands over Switzerland, in my opinion. Now, do you know what? We'll go England and Netherlands first. Now, the last time we came up against Netherlands, I'm pretty sure we either drew or we lost in the UEFA Nation League thing. I can't remember the exact score, but I'm pretty sure we weren't dominated. And Netherlands aren't again not the team they used to be. They've never really had a strong team, but they've always had, you know, a couple of individuals who are very, very good. But I don't know. Last time we went semis, I feel like this time we can go to the final. However, we either face Italy or France. Now, out of Italy and France, this is a hard choice. Italians, very, very good defensively, whereas France, offensively, very good. Midfield, strong. Defense, strong. I think the only weak link they have is Lloris, but he's still an alright goalkeeper. He's not, you know, world class, but he's still a very, very good goalkeeper. But, see, I want to say Italy. Because I feel like France, everyone says France are going to win. But you know what? No, do you know what? France are just too strong. I believe they're too strong. I just think they will realistically win. That game could go to penalties, you know, and then at that point it's 50-50. But I really like the Italians. Their team is very, very good. But I don't know. I just can't see anyone beating France, which sadly means that I don't believe, you know, I can't be biased. You know, I'd want England to win. If we're in the final, I'm backing them. You know, it's going to be a great day out wherever you are. But I'm sad to say France are probably going to win, aren't they? So yeah, that's my prediction. I believe France will win. But if you think about it, if we've gone to the semis last time, if we do get to the finals this time, does that mean we win the next World Cup? I don't know. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment down below if you think any of my predictions were wrong. Comment down below who you think will win this Euros, and subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you next time. Hi guys, and welcome back to the iAbba YouTube channel. Now, today, unfortunately, we are reacting to my Euro predictions. I know who I said would win, and I know who I put in the final, and one of the people I did put in the final were in the final, and sadly that team lost. But congratulations to Italy. You know, it's Thursday now, so I've had a few days to think about it and calm down. So, you know, I guess I'm over it. You know, it is what it is. World Cups next year, you know, we come back stronger. You know, we win together, we lose together, and hopefully, you know, with this experience, the team can do better next year. But of course, you know, after the game, the racial abuse certain players, Saka, Rashford and Sancho in particular, received, we have done an Instagram reel about it, so although I will not mention it in this video, we haven't neglected it. So if you'd like to go to our Instagram, which will be in the link in the description, you can go over there and see that and share it, show support. But let's get on with the reaction. So Italy, I put first. They did dominate the group, like I said. You know, I thought, you know, with the team they had compared to the teams in the group, that they would win. All of these will say 0 points, by the way, purely because I think I did it like a day or two after the Euros initially started, because I was a bit late on it. But you can kind of, you know, maybe count the points along, or yeah, we'll count the points along. So I guess that's one point. With this group, I genuinely thought Wales, like, they haven't got, you know, many good players. Obviously they have Bale and Ramsey, which are the main two, you know, Daniel James and all that, but I didn't really think they had anything in them. And the only reason why Turkey is third and not last was because I was hearing a lot about them being this magnificent team. I hadn't said anything, which I did say in the previous video. If you haven't, click on the eye above and you can watch that. So I'd say watch that video first if you haven't, and then watch this, it would make more sense. But Switzerland, I thought had a very strong team, and I just thought out of the other teams, they would come second. To be fair, they were one of the 4 teams who went through. So there was Swiss who went through, Switzerland, Portugal, Czech and Ukraine. Somehow Ukraine went through, which was very, I thought Finland were better than Ukraine, but I don't know how the ranking really worked, but it is what it is. So yeah, that group, I basically just got everyone wrong because Wales came second, Switzerland third, Turkey last, but it is what it is. Next group, very straightforward. Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Russia. I predicted it right because I know ball. I am very confident. I can't even say the word confident. I am very confident in my knowledge of football. And as you can see, with the next 3 groups, well, the next 2 technically, I got them all right. So there, Belgium, very good tournament. Unfortunately, lost to Italy. I think it was in the semi-finals. It was a very good game. No, it was quarter-finals, I believe, actually, because they faced Spain in the semis. Yeah, so that was that. Next group, Netherlands, Austria, Ukraine, North Macedonia. Exactly what I said. Straightforward, really. And then there was England, Croatia, Czech, Scotland, obviously coming last. You know, they did all of that to qualify to come last. Sad that England was the one that gave them their only point, though, isn't it? We poor performance. We had poor performances throughout, I would say. I think Ukraine, which is why I was surprised Ukraine got through, because I didn't really think they were, you know, anything special. So the fact that we got Ukraine in the quarterfinal, you know, we beat Germany. Yeah, to be fair, Germany, we played very well. You know, he played 3 at the back, and he set up to counter what Germany were gonna, you know, give us, and it worked well. We got 2 goals, clean sheet. You know, he set us up, and we did what he intended to do, and it was great. But yeah, so other than Germany, most games are really simple and should have won. Denmark was a bit of a struggle, but you know, we got over the line in the end. But you know, when we went to a semis, I said this in the previous video as well, you know, went to the semis, then we got to the final, and then, you know, we could win it, because if you've seen in the past, Liverpool, for example, they got to the Champions League final, lost it to Real Madrid, next season won it. It was against Tottenham, so it was a bit obvious, but anyways, then they, next season, I'm pretty sure they challenged for the Premier League and got high amount of points, an incredible amount. But Man City were just on another level that season, and they just missed out. And then the season after, where everybody just basically fell apart, which was actually a part of the COVID season as well, they won the Premier League. So, you know, there's proof there that, you know, if you get to a certain point, you could realistically, you know, just trump it and do better the next year. So hopefully England can win the World Cup next year in Qatar. We'll just have to wait and see. The next group, I did say this one could be the one where it just gets messy, and once again I got everything wrong. I underestimated Sweden. Sweden done very well. It was actually unfortunate that they lost in the round of 6. Was it the round of 16? I think it was the round of 16. Who did they play? I can't remember who they played, but I'm pretty sure it was either, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was round of 16, but I can't really remember who they played. Anyways, they done well in their group, to be fair. Poland somehow came last, which was maybe one of the, I want to say it's the biggest shock. Actually, do you know what? Out of the group stage, it probably was, because there wasn't many ones, you know, that should have been. But yeah, so that happened. Sweden, Poland, Spain. Yeah, do you know what? I just got them all wrong really, because Sweden topped it, then Spain, then Slovakia, then Poland. So that one I just completely messed up. However, the group of death, to be fair to Hungary, they played Portugal and didn't concede for 80 minutes. And then I think Ronaldo got a penalty or something, or he scored a goal, and then next thing I knew, they won like 3-0 somehow. So they played really well, to be fair, because then when they played, I think it was France, they got a draw 1-1, and then when they played Germany, was it like a 3-2 or something? It was a mad game. So although I did say they should just play as many behind the ball as well, they actually came out in a hard group, and although they didn't get the points, they performed well. And you know, they've done themselves proud, to be fair. But I did think with the quality of their side compared to the others, they were going to come last, and they did. So I was correct there. France, with the quality of their squad, for the top, and they did. And I did say again in the previous video, to be fair, because I have a bit of knowledge, that with Germany and Portugal it can go either way. But the way Germany were facing Portugal, I remember watching that game. They were on another level. Portugal just could not handle them. They were just pelting the ball, and Portugal just couldn't hack it. So you know, but then you know they kept continuing. They're gonna hack us. But anyways, so that's that. So out of that, so what? 5, 9, 10, 11, and okay, 15 points out of the possible 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 15 out of 24, it's alright, I guess. You know, I mean, I did say I have ball knowledge and I got quite a few wrong, so 4, 6, 9 wrong, but 15 right. It's alright, I guess. Here, see, this is where it's just going to start to get messed up, because the teams I thought would go through aren't going to be there compared to the team they are going to be there compared to the teams that should be there. Basically, it's going to be confusing now, because basically these aren't the fixtures that happened, but we can still talk about them, because Belgium versus Germany, I said Germany would win, but Belgium got further than Germany, so it was a bit confusing. But you know, Italy did play Austria, to be fair, and Italy did win, so that one I can kind of give it to myself. France vaced. Who did they vace? Was it Switzerland in the round of 16? Or was it the quarters? I think it was around 16. Because then Switzerland played Spain and lost on the penalties, but they beat France. That was a crazy game. It was like 3-3 or something. It was a crazy game. Switzerland done themselves proud. I did say that would be an upset. That's not the upset I thought I'd see. As you can see on the right of the screen, I thought France were winning the whole tournament, but you know, they did themselves proud, and they got to the quarters. They did very well. Switzerland, though, just unfortunate to lose on penalties against Spain. But see there, but France to go through. I think it was Croatia, Czech, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Czech won. So this one, again, Poland, Croatia, you know, Poland wasn't there at all, but you know, Spain versus Czech, I did think Czech would have it over Spain, but Spain were, although I said they're not the team they were, in a way they kind of surprised me. I feel like they grew into the tournament as the tournament went on. They were just getting better and better and better, so that happened there. And then I thought it would be that means it would have been England versus Czech again, but then I put England through. Down here, Netherlands, they faced Austria and Austria beat them, which was again another surprise. And then Switzerland, Denmark, which both teams went very far, well, quarters, and then Denmark got to the semis against England. And see, this is where it gets messed up, because Italy, Germany never happened, but Italy did win their quarterfinal, so you know. And then when it got to the semi-final here, Italy versus France, I genuinely thought it could go either way. I was a bit on the fence about it, and I just genuinely thought France were going to win So I had them there. I said no one's realistically going to beat them. Switzerland proved that to be false. France versus Croatia, obviously I thought France, but you know. And then I had England versus Netherlands. Even if we did get Netherlands over Denmark, I still think we would have won. And then it got to the finals, and there we have it. I said France, but I mean, I got one of them right in the final, so you know. But yeah, France won in the end, sadly. But no, they didn't. No, well, Italy won in the end. I thought France would win, sadly, but that concludes it. Whether or not I know football, you know, compared to, you know, technically I did well in groups, to be fair. See there it says 18 out of 49, but I did it late, so I don't know what those points were for. But I did alright in the groups, because you know, Group B, C and D I got fully correct. Group F could have gone either way, so I more or less got that correct. It could have gone either way, I did say that. Group A, I messed up a little bit, I just rearranged them. And Group E, I just completely messed that one up. So I thought I did pretty well. And then it's about putting the teams through that should have, and I got two of them. I got Czech and, well, because I said the Germany-Portugal one could have gone either way. So I said either who was coming third, it doesn't matter. So in a way, I'd give myself that one. Sweden, I thought would come third, but they won, so they did go through. But then, you know, with Finland, somehow Ukraine went. But you know, it is what it is. I would say I'm proud of my predictions. I think I did pretty well. You know, obviously the France one. Most people picked France to win because they just had the strongest squad. But we'll see who has the strongest squad in the World Cup. You know, you've got Argentina, who just won the Copa America with Messi. So now he's on one international trophy and Ronaldo's on one. So, you know, comment down below, who is the GOAT? Messi, Ronaldo. I appreciate both, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to start a war. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Comment down below your predictions, how you got along, if you did any. Comment down below who will win the World Cup next year as well. And obviously, who's better between Messi and Ronaldo. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Hi there, and welcome to the Ayaba Lifestyle Improvements YouTube channel. Here at Ayaba, we like to promote and encourage people to live a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. This is because there are many positives to living this type of way. As I personally live a healthy lifestyle, I have travelled around London with my friends to show you a day in the life of myself. To start off my day, I always eat a healthy bowl of cereal. This is because the 7 to 8 hours of sleep that you should get as an adult, your body has no nutrition given to it throughout these hours. Therefore, if you eat a healthy and light breakfast, it will keep your body functioning throughout the day up until lunchtime. Then after this, I left my house and I made my way to meet up with my friends. As I live near Camden and a new store had recently opened up, I went to go and visit and try out their new fresh organic orange juice. This product was vital to keeping me fueled up until lunchtime, as orange juice contains a lot of nutrition which is good for the body. I then met up with my friends at a local park nearby, which we saw many different people showing off how they live their healthy lifestyle, such as seeing joggers and cyclists. There are many positives of having regular exercise as a part of your lifestyle. If you exercise regularly to keep in shape, then you need to follow a healthy diet. This is as important, if not more important, than the exercise itself. This is because you need to calculate how many calories you take throughout the day and how many you are burning whilst doing your exercise. This may be hard to keep a record of. However, a good way to measure this would be to buy a sports watch. For older adults, it is proven that the ones who exercise regularly or do keep active have a less chance of falling over. This is because when exercising, it reduces the chance of your bone density lowering and strengthens the muscles. Therefore, when walking around, they have a less chance of falling over than the average adult. This is because exercise raises oxygen levels in your body, which helps reduce high cholesterol and the chances of having a heart attack occur. After exercise, it is very beneficial to have a healthy lunch, as this will replenish your hunger and increase energy levels. This has been proven to increase concentration levels during the day. Having a healthy lunch will give you the correct nutrition to last you until dinner. Therefore, me and my friends went to Tesco's and got ourselves a meal deal, which was cheap, and from the choices we made, it was healthy as well. Once we let our food digest for 30 minutes, we turn our attention to football, as this is our favourite sport, as it is to many in the UK. Playing football with your friends at a local park or football cage has its many pros. As some people can find exercising alone boring, exercising with friends can be more enjoyable and keep your mind off the boredom. Exercising with a partner alongside you or with a group of friends will allow you to catch up with them, as well as keeping active simultaneously. After a long day of exercising, it's always good to wash as soon as possible. This is because the sweat on your body is not good for the skin and can bring spots out. Therefore, it needs to be cleared away as soon as possible. Also, having a bath will relax the muscles in the body, and the chance of muscle ache happening the next day will be decreased. Also, having a bath will relax the muscles in the body, and the chance of muscle aches happening the next day will be decreased. After having a bath, I made myself a healthy dinner. The reason why my dinner is healthy is because it gives me the correct nutrients and correct number of calories. A balanced diet is good for the body as it helps exercise, is more effective, and accelerates the progression of muscle growth. It has also been demonstrated that a healthier dinner helps improve sleep compared to those who have an unhealthy dinner as part of their daily routine. Then after 3 hours of letting my food digest properly, it was time to go to bed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment on what type of lifestyle you currently live.